The adrenaline rush is huge for me. It's something that outside of doing something that scares you, you just can't replicate. That's something that keeps you up at night. You have anxiety, you panic about it, and it's this tremendous fear that's built up over sometimes years if it's a big enough trick. And there's two outcomes. You miss it and you get hurt, or you land it and you're elated, and it's worth every second that you've waited for it. My name is Ian Britt, and I'm an extreme pogo stick company owner, but I'm also an extreme maniac just in life. Our pogo stick looks like a giant metal cylinder between your legs and lets you fly in the sky. Instead of using a spring like an old pogo stick, it uses air from a pump. And it's a pretty simple concept. The more air you pump into it, the higher you can jump. The less air you pump into it, the lower you can jump. Let's try judo. Nice. VERTIGO allows you to jump 10 feet high, do flips, jump over things like cars, people, dogs, and just be crazy in general. There's no question that my biggest rush is doing something terrifying and pulling it off without getting hurt. That's kind of what I did 3 weeks ago when I tried to do the new snowboard jump. And in this case, it turned out that I did not pull it off without getting hurt. And instead, I shattered my shoulder and had to get surgery. But I love jumping on these pogo sticks. I love extreme sports, and it's just kind of in line with who I am. So to have the benefit of owning a company that you love what the product is makes it so that it doesn't feel like work a lot of times. So today we're shooting a tutorial video showing kids how to do one of the basic tricks in pogo sticking called a peg grab. One of our goals is to make it easier for kids out there to get better on pogo sticks.
Now there are a few common mistakes. Like a lot of grabs, it's going to be a balance thing.
Biff Hutchison is kind of a legend in pogo stick. He's one of the original guys who was out there setting world records. I think he's been in the scene for about 12 years now, which is a crazy time to be jumping really high on a pogo stick. I remember when I grew up skateboarding, BMX, snowboards, anytime we wanted to do a new trick, we just kind of had to figure it out ourselves. I learned through trial and error and lots of broken bones, whereas a lot of these kids can learn from tutorials and then learn in a much safer way. You start seeing these tricks that only pros threw 5 years ago. And it's just crazy to see that happening because it used to take 10 years to get that good, and they're getting that good in 1 or 2 years. Real quick, one more time. I didn't get it last time. Perfect. Okay. We're driving to one of our suppliers right now that does all the welding and machining for our parts on our pogo sticks. So we've got a box of about 140 that we're gonna throw in the back of the truck and then drive nice and slowly on the way back because they weigh several hundred pounds and they make the truck drive all over the place. Back in 1997, there were a bunch of friends hanging out and we were having a bonfire and one of the friends was bouncing around on a kid's pogo stick. He wasn't doing anything crazy or stupid, but he tried to jump up onto a ledge and the pogo stick shattered. The handlebars were still in his hand, but you had the pegs flying off in one direction. There were bolts bouncing along the ground. He looked over at one of my friends and he said, "Hey Josh, your dad owns a metal shop. Why don't you build me one of these things that doesn't break?" They definitely fit better than the other ones did. And there was a light bulb moment. Ding! Hey, what do you think about extreme pogo sticks? This is a completed cylinder prior to getting the holes drilled in at the bottom. And it's just been welded. And anyone who knows welding fairly well would look at this and just be so impressed because it lays down an absolutely perfect bead of weld. It's an art form for someone to do something like this. And when I look at it, it just, my pupils dilate and my heart gets filled with joy because it's so perfectly done. This is a part that we're just so proud of. Anyone who sees it when it's finalized just comments on how amazingly beautiful they are. My best friend, Josh, we had both wanted to own our own companies growing up, and we loved extreme sports. So to have a company that we owned in extreme sports was perfect. I work really, really hard. I wake up at 7 o'clock and I answer emails, and I go to bed at 12 or 1 o'clock and I'm still answering emails. And throughout the middle of the day, we're building pogo sticks, we're running from vendor to vendor, we're trying to put out fires that pop up. So it's very busy, and it can be very difficult and trying at times, but it's something that I'm passionate about. We're gonna meet Biff back at the shop. He's got the design for what he wants to do on the cylinder, so we're gonna have him help out. After that, hopefully break a record tomorrow. To have the benefit of owning a company that you love what the product is makes it so that it doesn't feel like work a lot of times, even though you spend almost your whole life here. So what are we thinking on the design? Do you want it to be more of a snappy bounce?
We're doing high front flip, so I want something a little slower.
All of the world records that are currently held are so crazy and took so much time to get that I didn't think it would be possible to set a new one. So I gave Biff a call. He said, actually, I've been thinking that I might be able to do the front flip over a bar world record. Trying to jump over a 10-foot bar. And the breather holes that we have in our stick allow air to travel into the cylinder and then back out again. But when you're jumping 10 feet high as he's getting, you need to have more airflow. So we're gonna add a few more holes on each side. Custom pogo sticks are generally ordered by people who are really serious about the sport. They want to customize all kinds of aspects of it. You gonna break the record with this guy?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm capable of jumping really high, and I can do flips and I can do tricks. But the pros are so good that they're on a whole nother level. I've got to jump around for a little while, try them a couple times, and then I'll land them. These guys are doing 4 or 5 tricks in a row where they land it every single time. They can pull off the tricks in their sleep, and I have to put a lot of effort and thought into it before I can even give it a shot. Last 2, there we go. Oh, I can't believe you pulled that off. That was so close. You know, we get lots of questions. Why is your pogo stick worth every dollar you charge? It's because it can do this, and we can send them a video. And once they see that, they can kind of say, oh, okay, I understand now. All right, so what do you think?
It's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it feels great.
Good. I was born in Southern California, about 50 miles away from here in Santa Monica, and I grew up in LA County. And a few years ago, I moved to Orange County. It's just a beautiful place. It's hard to move away from. I love it. It's a place that I'll probably end up dying in, I would imagine. Growing up in Southern California, you're exposed to all these extreme sports. And if you do them, a lot of people love them. And when we thought of an extreme pogo stick, it was just kind of an extension of all the other sports that are out there. I would generally say Southern California is probably the reason that there's an extreme pogo stick in the world. I usually wake up at around 7:30 in the morning, and the first thing I do is I reach over and I grab my laptop. We sell about 25% of our pogo sticks overseas, and because of that, we get emails throughout the night. And from there, I make a smoothie. I just throw all kinds of veggies in because I don't like veggies, and I make 2 giant cups of kale and spinach and cucumbers and celery and ginger. And most people say, oh, that looks terrible. And I say, oh, it tastes even more terrible. After that, I head into work. Looks like Amanda beat me here today, and I can hear her doing our daily workout. So I've got a few minutes before I need to go pick up stuff. Being able to work out in your own shop is pretty cool.
The swings are getting pretty low.
Most people have to drive to a gym to go get a workout in. We have to walk 20 feet.
I could do both of one arm.
We make them all locally in Southern California. They go through lots of inspection processes, and we have very few rejects. Whereas a traditional pogo stick is made in a giant factory, goes through very little quality control. We made the decision to do everything ourselves, shipping, fulfilling orders, assembling pogo sticks. We had some bad experiences in the past where we tried to offload that stuff to other suppliers, and they just didn't do a good job. So we decided to bring everything in-house, do it all ourselves. It takes a lot more time, but we get things done properly. You know, somebody makes an order, it goes out the same day, they get it really quickly, they're happy with us, we're happy with them, and it's just a good relationship. So until we can figure something else out, we're probably just gonna keep everything in-house. This business means everything to me. It's not something where I'm doing it to make a lot of money. It's something where I'm doing it to use that money to buy happiness in a way. My whole goal with this company is to grow it big enough to where I can hire my friends, and I'll have a more fulfilled life than anyone else I know. So to me, money's not the thing. It's about the happiness and the passion.
This will break the record by 3 inches.
We set up the high jump bar, and while we were doing it, the whole goal was for him to come in and do a bunch of practices, but Biff decided that he'd rather just go for it on the first try. So we set the bar straight to 9 feet 6 inches, and we're now getting the shot set up, and he's just gonna go for it. Oh, man. Oh. There's not any true purpose behind the invention of pogo sticks. All we care about is having fun. That's my whole goal in life. I don't aspire to be anyone special or do anything crazy. I just want every day to be fun. Yes! I want to just have a fun life. Double digits! Where I can look back when I'm old and say I didn't miss out on anything. Oh my gosh. 10 freaking feet!